Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome to the show, Jack Chow on East West with G&E TV. A few weeks ago, we had a discussion, a show with a bunch of my wonderful guests here talking about the subject that's left over by history, the comfort woman subject, which is a crime committed by the Japanese invader during the war invasion to China. Right. It's not done yet. I received after that show quite some email responses and even telephone responses. People who even know my cell phone number, they call me, say, Jack, do something about that.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I got a very, very good response of that show. So today, once again, we have my good friend, Phyllis Kim, here to join us to talk further on their recent activities. Phyllis is a CEO. She's the executive director of the Korean American Forum
Of California.
of California.
Yes.
And she's a very brief movement herself. And we're proud, I'm proud of her to have her as a friend. Because it is you may have lots of friends, but you seldom have friends, beautiful and with guts and wisdom, right? So, warmly welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Very good. I know this is something very sad. And lots of people died during the war.
Yes.
And lots of people, when you were talking about atrocity, you're talking about casualties of war,
Yes.
right? You're talking about death of the military, of the civilians, right? You quite sometimes ignore the fact that people who suffer in the wartime, during wartime,
Right.
suffer from all kind of disasters
Yes.
that caused by war. And this case, the comfort women was sexually
Abused.
and they suffer a lot.
Right.
They were treated like animals.
Right.
Right. So now I want to give you the microphone to let you introduce your organization, which I salute a lot, and also your recent activities. About yourself first,
Okay.
please.
So my name is Phyllis Kim. I am the executive director at Korean American Forum of California. Thank you for the kind introduction.
Thank you.
We are the group of people who came together in 2007. Back 10 years ago, there was a resolution introduced by Japanese American Congressman Mike Honda.
Mike Honda,
Yes.
a wonderful man.
Very, very
a hero
good
kind of
person.
man.
Yes.
I respect him a lot. I personally know him. Yeah.
So he introduced this Comfort Women resolution, which was called HRES 121. So this resolution called upon the Japanese government to officially accept the historical responsibility for the war crime and crime against humanity committed against hundreds of thousands of women during World War II.
Yeah.
And the largest case of human trafficking in the 20th century. So those are the words included in the resolution. And we were the people who campaigned for the passage of that resolution 121 in California.
Has it passed?
Yes,
All right,
unanimously
very good.
passed in
Unanimously.
July of 2007. So we just celebrated 10th anniversary of the passage of House Resolution 121.
I see.
Just a few weeks ago in Washington D.C. with Mike Honda and the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, Ed Royce, and Judy Chu,
All right.
and Elena Latinen. So these people are still very strong supporters, including Congressman Adam Schiff.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they've all been very supportive of the issue and the full resolution of the issue, which has not been resolved to this day. So So we're the organization that was formed later on to bring memorial, to build memorials in California, in the public site, so that this atrocity, this history can be remembered, and this can be also a tool for education for American public, including our next generation,
exactly.
so that it does not happen again. So we worked on the installation of the girl statue in Glendale, California. So that happened in 2013, which draw a lot of international attention.
That one was accepted already, right?
Yes.
Smaller scale.
It is already standing in the Glendale Central Park, and this site has been a very important place for memorial of the victims. Whenever grandmas pass away, we have memorial ritual in front of the statue. The supporters come out and they pray for the victims. Also, we from time to time have event in Glendale to commemorate many different things around the comfort woman issue.
I see.
We also worked on the inclusion of this history in California high school textbook. That campaign happened last year, and we collected more than 20,000 signatures in support of the inclusion of the comfort woman history in the world history part of the 10th grader world history classes. So it is now included in the curriculum that the 10th graders in California in public schools will be learning about comfort woman issue. The next important thing is that there are about 7-8 memorials throughout the U.S. Commemorating the comfort woman victims. However, we need one in major city. So when San Francisco came up with the resolution to build a comfort woman memorial in San Francisco public park.
Where?
It is St. Mary Square. It's
St. Mary Square.
In the heart of downtown. It is on the corner of California and Grant.
I know that where that is.
Across from the California street, there is a St. Mary Cathedral, the church, very historical site. And then across from it is a St. Mary Square Park. And that is the location for this memorial. We had a call for artists. And the KAFC is one of the member organizations of the CWJC, which was formed to build memorial in San Francisco.
I see.
And this organization is comprised with Chinese American, Korean American, Japanese Americans, Jewish, women's group, Veterans for Peace. Many different organizations came together with one purpose. To build comfort woman memorial.
Yes,
it's a multi-ethnic, multi-community effort.
Let's take a very short moment now. When we come back, we'll continue with the statue design. With me today is my good friend, Phyllis Kim. She is one of the very, very big activists in my eye, and she's the founder and the CEO of Korean American Forum of California.
Yes.
And we are thankful to her and her followers. Because of them, memories are remembered. Histories are remembered.
Yes.
Well, we're at the verge about forgetting the whole thing. Now, stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show, discussion about war crime. The title of today's show is, we strictly name it, it's like war crimes that have not been paid.
Right.
We know that crime has to be paid, but there are crimes that remains unpaid. That's why we're here. That's why we're still vocal. That's why we are more vocal. That's why we have to be more vocal, because history has given us only a little time span,
Right.
and we do not have much left.
Exactly.
Right, good. With me today is my good friend, Phyllis Kim. She is the Executive Director of the Korean American Forum of California, and she and her group, lots of other groups are together, and they are doing great activities after activities within this category of this issue. Right. Number one, I understand that they put up a statue in Glendale, California already, and number two, they made it a signature movement to have the history recorded in the curriculum of the 10th grader of California Public School.
Yes.
And also they are now putting up another statue in the core of San Francisco.
Yes.
Core area. I know that area, Queen and Grand. That's a cathedral. That's a cathedral church.
St. Mary's.
St. Mary,
Yes.
yeah. St. Mary and Grand. There's a big open area in the core of the city.
California and Grant. That's the intersection of Chinatown and the financial district.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a cable car going on in front on the California
the
street.
ding dong car.
Right, and there's a cafe house across from the park, which is a landmark restaurant in Chinatown.
Very good, very good. And who are those behind the statue, the new statue in San Francisco, please?
Actually, this movement started in the Chinese American community in San Francisco. There have been a movement, various movements in Chinese American community in San Francisco to remember the war history that happened in China during World War II and even before World War II, and the war crimes committed by Japanese Imperial Armed Forces. There are many different organizations, but there were two judges at the California Superior Court. Their names are Lillian Singh and Julie Tang. These Chinese American women judges, they have been working to bring lights on the rape of Nanjing for a long time, for about 20 years. And then it was them, the two of them, who started this project to bring memorial to remember the comfort women victims in San Francisco. The reason why they started doing it is because this issue is not just about China, not just about Korea. The victims came from more than a dozen different countries. So this was actually a universal human rights
Southeast
issue.
Asian countries,
Yes,
lots
including,
of women were captured.
including
yes.
Taiwan, Indonesia, the Philippines, East Timor, Malaysia, Thailand, Burma. So many countries were affected, and everywhere Japanese Imperial Armed Forces occupied, there were victims. So it was more of an international women's issue and the human rights issue and the crime against humanity, because in 1990s, UN declared that rape during the war as a strategy of war is crime against humanity.
Yes, absolutely. It
Right.
is by nature. By nature, it is.
However, this history is so little known in American mainstream politics, media, education, and public opinion. So building memorial is a great way to bring this issue to the attention of the public opinion and public eyes.
Even those who do know, they tend to be forgetting it.
Exactly.
And then, to me, the human memory are kind of like a goldfish. They have longer and shorter than 7 seconds. That's it. That's what they say.
Because there are so many issues.
They are easy to forget.
Right.
Right. for that thing, atrocity, especially when you bear a wound, still bleeding.
Exactly.
There are pus still coming out.
Right.
You don't want to forget it.
Right.
Okay. Speaking of that, though, I would like to clarify with you one thing.
Yes.
Please help me.
Yes.
When we talk about issue of comfort women, we want to give analysis about the women who they are, right? Who they were, right? Now, there are a bunch of them. Majority of them were brought from their own Japan land to go along with them. They are, I don't know. I don't care. It's their own woman, right? They volunteer to be raped, to be whatever, to be used as a machine for animals to explode.
For the glory of war.
For the quote unquote, whatever, all right? The goddamn glory, excuse my language, I can't find anything better, the glory of whatsoever, right? So those are the one group, right? Now you're talking about along the way, everywhere they go with the occupation, right? They gather, they capture the women out there. And first they rape them, group rape them. Then they torture them and enslave them to be the comfort women. Those are the different kind of comfort women. So when we put up a monument to commemorate them, the comfort women, do we make a distinction in between the two?
The definition of the system of comfort women is the system of human trafficking and slavery for sexual servitude to better conduct the war. So anyone and everyone, all the women who were drafted or cheated or just snatched from the street or taken at gunpoint, all these women who were included in the system of human trafficking as well as the system of slavery, enslavement, in which they did not have the freedom of movement, in which they did not have the freedom to say no,
all right.
in which they did not have the freedom to quit and go home.
In which freedom was taken away.
Right. So these Japanese women,
those are the women that we want to commemorate.
They are also the victims of this sexual enslavement in the system that was created by Japanese Imperial Army.
No, I don't think so. I don't necessarily think so because they were volunteer. The majority of them are volunteer. Great majority of them, they volunteer.
In the sense that this was the system of enslavement in which they didn't have the right to say no either. They were raped as well. Even if they were prostitutes has human rights, right?
All right.
So even if they volunteered at first for money when they were, something was advertised in Japan, and even if they volunteered.
Okay, now, let's do another distinction, right? If they say, I do this for the purpose of prostitution, I have no problem. Men pay, women provide service. That's it.
Okay.
Right? If they say with a slogan, say, for the glory of the F war, I do have a big problem.
But that was,
you want to glorify the war, all right?
Exactly. So we need to see who was responsible for creating that glorification of war. Was it the people? Was it the women? Was it the soldiers?
The women glorifies it.
It was the system. We have to look at it. Who's ultimately responsible? It is the government. It is the military, and it is the system of the emperor, which was in place in Japan, which still is.
I agree.
So instead of blaming,
I agree.
Those are the victims. Actually,
I agree. But I still want to argue with you because this is as a man. What I'm saying represents my own personal opinion. It doesn't do anything for the show, for the organization, nor does it for my flagship, right? So I am only talking about my personal opinion.
Okay.
When I come back, I do have a little argument. Just argue for the purpose of making issues clarified, right?
Okay.
So stay with us. Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences, my fellow Americans. If you care about history, you'd better be interested in the subject today. We're talking about today war crimes that have not been paid. With me is my good friend Phyllis Kim. She is the executive director of the Korean American Forum of California. And she and her group and many other groups and their followers together are making it very vocal that war crimes have to be paid. In the meantime, they are putting up statues,
To
memorial,
remember, the
memorial statues in commemoration of those quote-unquote comfort women during the World War time.
Right.
We were stuck a little bit just now at one point that I have no problem when the volunteered the woman for prostitution, making wartime a good moment to make money because there might be more who needs prostitution amongst the Japanese soldiers, the invaders. That I have no problem. Go ahead, feel free to do so. It's your own woman. You go ahead, do it. Right? That was number one. Number two, which I do seriously denounce, is that I don't want to take them as victims, because they were the ones glorifying the wars, because they volunteered to be comfort women for the glory of the war. That I disagree. So.
The women that you described may not come forward as I am the victim of the comfort woman system. They will not.
Okay, all right.
So we don't need to really, worry about that
good.
category. However, I want to make a very important point that this, when women were, recruited from Korea and Taiwan, which were Japanese colony at the time, the method of recruitment was quite different from other occupied territories such as China, the Philippines, and Indonesia. Because Japan had control over these two countries, Taiwan and Korea, they were able to use more trickery instead of recruiting at gunpoint or just taking them from wherever they went. They advertised, and they actually allocated the number of women to be provided from each village or each school.
Oh, I see. Like a quota.
Right. So, and a lot of times they used, advertisement that, you will be working as a nurse, or you will be doing laundry, you will be making boots in factory in Japan, and you will be paid a lot of money. You will be able to send the money back home. That's how they volunteer to go. And that is the argument Japanese deniers are using, that these women volunteer. So we have to be more inclusive, is what I'm saying, that we have to look at not only the way of recruitment, but also what these women actually went through once they arrived, or in the process, in the transportation process to arrive at comfort station.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course I want to include them because they are cheated.
Right.
Right? Cheating is also a way of force, right? So that's no problem. They are victims. I only want to exclude those who want to do it to glorify the war.
If there were such women, and if they had the freedom of movement, freedom of saying no, and if they say, okay, that's enough, I want to go home, and if they could go home, they would not come forward saying that I am the victim of the
no, they didn't say the victim.
They will not say it, and they will not be categorized.
I read lots of bio stories of those women, the Japanese women. They even because in the present time, they're 90-something years old. They still feel glorified for what they have done.
We're not talking about those women.
No, exclude them.
But majority of these victims came from Korea and China.
All right. Okay,
so we need to majority. A lot of women came from Korea because Korea was the colony, and China because China was so vast. And China was fighting with Japan, and China was under occupation of Japan. That's why it was easier, and there were so many strongholds, as Professor Chu explained last time, that there were so many strongholds for Japanese military that this system was not able to reach in remote areas. Then this, whenever a certain unit reached to a place, they just took women from the village. And these women were not even included in the number or the calculation of the documentation of the Japanese military at the time. So that's why Professor Chu and her colleagues' research revealed that the number from China alone would be even more than 200,000. Bringing the total number of the victims as many as 500,000.
All right.
So this is a huge issue.
That's a huge issue.
That's why, going back to San Francisco, we want to commemorate this issue as the international human rights issue and the women's issue, because to this day, women become victimized. Whenever there's war, women are raped and women are sexually violated. That is still going on. We still hear the stories of 300 Nigerian girls taken away.
Yes.
And what's going on in Syria
and
or
in
Syrian
some other countries, such as India or something, we heard a story like that. They do it on the street.
Right.
Right.
So we want to bring awareness, and we want to demand accountability. Government accountability for these kind of systematic violence against women, especially during war. That's why government is accountable, and that's why we want to hold government accountable. And that is the reason why we are building this memorial in San Francisco.
We're holding government accountable for future occurrences, and we're holding Japanese responsible.
Right.
For what has happened.
Exactly.
Right? These two together.
Oh yes.
The core issue, core spirit.
Right.
Of the statue and the monument and all together those activities. Am I right?
Without making the past right, we cannot have future right.
Exactly.
So that's always what Congressman Ed Royce says. That whenever he comes out to support these grandmas, who are the activists in the 26 years, demanding Japanese responsibility, government responsibility, these great politicians from the United States has been very, very supportive of the cause, from the sense that this is a universal women's issue and human rights issue. So this memorial being erected in San Francisco, and San Francisco being the international destination and beautiful, beautiful city.
Is already there?
No.
No.
It is being made right now, and we are looking at the installation by the end of this year, the latest.
I see.
So we're still raising funds, because San Francisco, being San Francisco, everything is very expensive. And
Of course. Yeah.
And if you look at the statue, it's different from the statue we have in Glendale, which came from Korea. This statue represents Korean women, Chinese women, and Filipino women. So representing universality of the crime. And these women, actually girls, are holding hands and standing on top of a column, looking outward. And one grandma is looking at them from the floor. And that grandma is the first survivor who publicly spoke out.
I see.
Who broke the
I
silence
see.
in 1991.
The icebreaker.
Yes. Her name is Hak-sun Kim, and she had a press conference in 1991, August 14, which is next week.
I see.
Which is the International Comfort Woman Day. Telling and breaking the silence about what she went through under the system of military sexual slavery by Japan. And that ignited other victims to come out also and started speaking out. And they started the movement to bring redress from Japanese government.
Understood, very understood. My dear audience, today, once again, we're talking about the historical issue, the comfort woman, which is a war crime that has not been paid. We are demanding the Japanese government bend down to apologize, to actually pay for the crime. With me today is my good friend, Phyllis Kim. I admire her for her guts. I admire her for her wisdom. I admire her for her capability of motivating lots of people around her to follow her and other organizations. Together, they make the voice so strong that I get involved. So stay with us. We come back. We want to find out what
we can do.
What we can do. All right. So stay with us. Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. My name is Jack Chow with the East West Show with the G&E TV. I feel obligated with lots of social issues. With this one, I feel especially obligated because it is a human race we're talking about. It is atrocity that happened against the human race. It's an issue that to be totally denounced by human race. And I believe the Japanese at this very moment, if they have the least of the sense of knowing what is a crime, they would give us the apology we demand. Right. Now, talking about the comfort woman issue during World War II when they invaded China and Southeast Asia, many Southeast Asian countries. Joining me is my friend Phyllis Kim. She is the founder and the CEO, executive director of Korean American Forum of California, and many other organizations horizontally collaborated in the movement, making it very vocal, demanding, number one, for apology, number two, the issue to be recorded on textbooks, number three, put up a statue in Glendale of California. Now the third statue, the second statue, in the city of San Francisco, in the core of the city.
Yes.
Right. And I believe it is very expensive to do so.
Very, very expensive. Yes.
Right?
And I really want to talk about these two judges in San Francisco.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Lillian Singh and Julie Tang. They have been judges for over 20 years, close to 30 years, and all, each of them. And they have been very, very respected member of the San Francisco mainstream community. And these two judges actually retired in order to be involved in the project to build a memorial in San Francisco, because they knew as judges, they if they were to be deeply involved in this movement in San Francisco, because there is going to be a strong backlash and denials from the Japanese government, that it has to be political, that they have to be vocal and political, that they cannot remain in the neutral position of judgeship. So what they did, they retired. They retired from their judgeship. They love being judges. And they want to go back after this project is done. However, they gave several years of their life, and they are devoting 24 hours, 7 days a week without nothing in return. They're even spending their own money to do this, meeting various people, city government.
They deserve lots of respect.
And the donors and the supporters, they have been garnering so much support from San Francisco. And it has been very successful, and we've been following their leadership in San Francisco. And we even include the Japanese Americans in this effort in San Francisco. And we are now, it has been 2 years since we've been making efforts in this. 2 years is a long time, but it's very short compared to other projects. I believe we have been able to achieve this progress only because we had these two judges, Lillian Singh and Julie Tang, in San Francisco. And they have raised so much money. However, we are short of $100,000. And we are still making efforts to raise the rest of the money that we need to make an installation.
You never know who is among our audiences. We have a bunch of lovely audiences.
Yes.
They do care about what's going on.
Yes.
They do care things about themselves. If they want to donate,
Yes.
Do you have a website or something?
The CWJC is a Comfort Women Justice Coalition, and this coalition is located in San Francisco, and we have a website, comfortwomenjusticecoalition.org.
One word.
Just
Comfort
one word.
Women Justice Coalition.
Yes.
.org.
So Comfort Women. WOMEN.
Plural number.
So just name of our organization is the name of our website.
Comfort Women Justice Coalition.
.org.
All right, good.
So
they can donate online.
Yes. So you can make a PayPal donate through the website, or you can send a check to the address. To the P.O. Box in San Francisco.
I see.
And please put CWJC on the check, and it will be used.
CWJC,
Yes.
Comfort Women
Justice
Coalition. CWJC,
Yes.
good.
It'll be great help for our efforts.
California is so big, and I believe we have a very vast audience, and $100,000 is nothing. Let's do it. Let's do something good for ourselves, good for our children. Because history is the kind that you don't just want to take it as all, that's history. That year page is over. Let's flip it over. Let's forget it. No. History is not a thing like that.
Right.
History, if you do not remember it, or memorize it by heart, it will come back.
It'll be repeated.
It will be repeated.
Yes.
It will come back.
Yes.
Right. So that's why, for example, in China, we're talking about the Cultural Revolution. You heard that?
Yes.
Right. Lots of people are trying to make sure it not come back. It will not come back. All right. In Nanjing, about Nanjing, rape of Nanjing.
Right.
The author Zhang, Iris Zhang,
Yes.
who committed suicide. Right.
Yes.
Anyway. So she did it first. She was the one of the very first that broke the ice.
Yes.
Right. And lots of people even got a death threat by the Japanese, the leftist Japanese, and because they wrote something, they say something. Well, And you can see crime is being committed as we speak.
Right.
As we speak.
Because Japanese government is actively making an effort in the United States with lots of money, huge budget, to sabotage our efforts to build a memorial, to teach history in California students, to disseminate this history among American public. They are using this money and using these Japanese diplomats to influence American citizens' freedom of speech and our effort to remember this history.
Is a government-funded counter-reaction?
I believe so, yes. Very, very strong backlash is happening in San Francisco. We had to fight every step of the way in order to get where we are today.
In other words, the word fight is actually a real fight.
It is still going
real
on.
Fight,
yes,
right?
It's a very strong,
and you guys really put your life at stake.
We are the warriors.
You're the warriors.
And we need the bullets.
You need all right, good, very good. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. I don't think you can find a world without bullets, right?
Exactly.
Especially in San Francisco.
Yes.
Even ice cream bars
expensive.
are more expensive,
yes.
right? So, my dear audiences, it's not a laughing matter. It's not at all a laughing matter.
Right.
It is history. It is a burden on us because we are the ones in between. Because our parents, they experienced what had happened. We're talking about, and our kids, they know nothing about it.
Exactly.
So we are the intermediate, right? We are the intermediate generation. If we keep silent, if we know nothing, if we do nothing. And our generation, next generation,
right.
our posterity will know nothing about the whole thing.
Right.
And then they get the history, crimes got away, and it will someday somehow come back.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, with the government-funded counter-reactions, it is back.
Yes.
It is back.
It is. It
right?
is. Yes.
All right, good. Very good. You know the website address. I want to say it again. And I'm not advertising anything commercial, but this is for nonprofit, for social justice.
Exactly.
For historical justice. I will do it. I want to do it. I want to do it twice. I want to do it whatever.
And
right?
you will get tax exemption for all donations
good.
you make because
Good.
we are nonprofit.
All right.
Yes.
The Comfort Woman Justice Coalition.org.
ORG. Yes.
Okay. And you want to say it again, please?
Comfort Women Justice Coalition.org.
Very good, very good. Let's do something. Action is more needed than words. Of course, words are better. I mean, words are still good, but actions are better.
But if some people feel more comfortable writing a check instead of go online and make a payment through the credit card, then we have a P.O. box, Post Office Box 27635. 27635.
Oh, it's here. Oh, you wrote to me, right?
Yes. 27635, San Francisco, California, 94127 is the
Never mind. Then my audience will see it on the big screen.
Yes.
My editor will do the job.
Yes.
Right? They know what to do. And even the website and everything, they will. All we need is you, right? What that just tell?
Please participate in making the history.
Sure, let's do it. All right. So, my dear audience, thank you very much for watching. And to my friend Phyllis, and I salute, I thank you, I respect everything.
Thank you so much.
And I love what you do. And I'll get involved myself.
Thank you.
So, see you.